Welcome to the Reddit stories. R/Ask Reddit. What's the trade secret you know from working the industry? A resistor is made in Japan. It is wrapped in plastic and shipped to Michigan. It's installed into a small PCB. It is wrapped in plastic and shipped to Taiwan. That PCB is installed via sideboard connector onto a larger PCB. It is shipped to China. That PCB is installed in a small housing via harness. It is shipped to India. That housing has its microchips programmed, and the outside is given a chemical treatment. It is shipped back to Michigan. The housing is now treated and installed into a car side mirror. It is shipped to Ohio. The side mirror is run through a post-production sort program to check for defects. It is shipped to Detroit. It is installed onto a car. Every single step of that shipping, every single component is wrapped in plastics. Millions of them per car, to over half a dozen locations each. Something like 50 million cars are produced each year. Your straws aren't doing shit for the use of plastics. Automotive production and diagnostics engineer. If you ship through FedEx Express, if you're sending many packages/envelopes to a single stop, ship one priority overnight, and the rest standard. They'll be delivered together with the priority package. All emergency rooms are not equal emergency rooms. In my hospital, we don't have any sort of pediatrics or any of that. Whoever a kid comes in, or worse a baby, the nurses and doctors are all in a panic. Not because they are incompetent, but because that's not what our hospital does regularly. Sure, we will stabilize to the best of our ability and we will immediately call the local children's hospital. But if you have a child, for example, in distress, and you have multiple hospitals nearby, try being aware beforehand which one is the best for yours or your child's needs. You don't want to rush into an ER, where there isn't someone who can confidently and effectively treat you. Worst possible secret. I worked in the main shipping warehouse for a popular lingerie chain. I processed returns. We were trained to use tape to extract pubes from used underwear and then repack it as new. I quit after 2 months. Not for me. Accounting firm. If you complain nicely about a late fee or interest charge UTC added to your invoice, it's likely to get cancelled. It's easy to do, and the extra fees are just to discourage people from paying bills late. But if you come back and question it politely, it will be wiped instantly. It's nothing in the grand scheme of things regarding revenue and variances. Most electronic medical records allow providers to put pop-up warnings in your chart if you act verbally or physically aggressive. If you yelled at the ER nurse in 2017, the medical assistant you called today begging for a last minute appointment can see it. Tourism industry here. Look up when peak season is for the destination you're looking at. There are usually cheaper prices at the beginning and end of the season. Try to book at the beginning of the season. Seasonal workers work themselves ragged and are usually completely burnt out at the end. At the beginning of the season, everyone is stoked to start making money again. If you're having pruning done by a tree service, verify that the crew leader who's actually performing the work is certified or experienced and not just the owner. Also, different companies and arborists have different nuances and theories they prune by. My take is to make as few cuts as necessary to accomplish the goal. Anyone selling you wind thinning is just taking years of life off your tree. Same thing if you have notable or valuable trees near the power lines. Results may vary, but if you bug them enough, the power company forester should, hopefully, be able to get you a certified trimmer or someone who won't hack your tree. Keeping in mind that they still have to get their clearance. Edit. A certified arborist is a good start, not a guarantee. I've seen plenty of bad work from my SA certified people. The most common thing I see is over pruning. Also, someone mentioned Alex Shigo in the comments. If you're interested in learning more about tree care and pruning, if you have love for your trees, having a baseline of knowledge will help a ton in selecting a good arborist. Taking the time to get multiple evaluations and talking to a few different people can also pay off. As an HVAC mechanical engineer, if you tell us you don't care about a brand, it'll open up an entire industry of options. Almost all packaged equipment has the same efficiency and warranty, but some brands just cost way more than others because of whatever internal proprietary controls they have, or inflated egos or whatnot. I can design you a system for 50% less sometimes, if you give me the flexibility to do so. I can also show you a comparison to prove to you that two systems of different costs will operate equally. Edit. I should add that a good/ethical engineering sales, should also keep in mind maintenance, dimensions, fitment, and overall longevity of the unit. And they should have in-depth discussions with their customers. Lowest equipment cost does not always equal longest lifespan. I'm just talking about operational comparisons. Not sure if any of this is a secret, but if you can't find a book at your local library, ask the reference librarian to do an interlibrary loan. They have access to large networks of libraries that are able and willing to share materials, sometimes even across state lines depending on the sort of library and request. Also utilize the digital content. We have to pay big bucks and fight with publishing companies to get that content, ebooks, audiobooks, etc. And they are great resources. Libby and Overdrive are awesome. Many library systems also offer streaming content of movies and TV shows. Oh, and you can check out national park passes and museum tickets too at many libraries. Here's a big one. When your loved one dies and you choose cremation with no services, very common these days, please select the option that their clothing/personal effects will be cremated with them. The other option is to destroy the items. This means they are removed and placed in a biohazard bag. We are not gentle in the removal of these items, because the next step is the cremation. Your loved ones deserve the dignity of going into the machine while wearing whatever they are wearing. The exception is if you'd like their clothing back. We are more gentle, and generally the items are laundered. When moving into a new rental, before you move anything in, take a video of your walkthrough and mention and point out everything and anything. Mark the date, time, and address. If they give you a small form to write on, make your own. This can save you lots of issues when you move out. In sales, the receptionist is the most important person in the building. She can tell everything you need to know about who you are meeting, what their likes/dislikes are, their schedule, what other salespeople are stopping in, and most importantly, often get ignored and mistreated by everyone. A little respect and gratitude for their position goes a long way in reducing your time to reach a decision maker. Awards tend to be bullshit. Awards companies are there to sell advertising. They make up awards, offer winning titles to businesses, then charge them to include their name in their literature. For example, the business my husband and I own recently won a national award. We were even asked what award we'd like to win. What's the title of the award you feel you'd be best suited to? We could have made anything up, and we'd have been given it. Bests is in the known universe. To receive a certificate, we need to pay them £70. For a trophy, it's £225. To have a quarter-page spread in their magazine, it's £650. For a featured article, we have to pay them £2,000. It's a load of bullshit. Nobody ever remembers who gave the award, and frankly we aren't daft enough to pay for a featured article nobody will ever read, so we just use the term award-winning in our own advertising now. I doubt this will be too interesting to most, but if you buy 100 tons of straight rubber, you're actually only getting like 95 tons of steel. ASTM allows the rubber to be up to 6% lighter than the nominal weight per foot, and so it saves on raw material if you aim to run 4-5% light. However, rubber is tested based on the nominal weight per foot, so two pieces of rubber with the same strength will be able to hold the same amount of force, even if one is thinner than the other. If you want to book a rental car, but they're sold out, book it for a week or two longer than you actually need it, and then just return the car early, and you'll only get charged for the time that you had it. All the systems owned by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Enterprise, Alamo and National automatically open up their system to long-term reservations, and will make sure you get a car over someone who only booked in for a day or two. Worked there for 2 years. It's a dirty business, but at least I learned a lot of rental hacks. LMAO. Attorneys can really only remember the details of about 20 to 40 cases at a time, so if you call your attorney after about a month or two, depending on the firm and how busy they are, they likely completely forgot what happened to you and are working off a set of notes to pretend they have any clue who you are. Especially if you've really only interacted with them via phone other than one time in person for an intake, or whatever. The US military wastes an extraordinary amount of money, and not necessarily on weapons or personnel or anything like that. Every year, commanders must submit their total spending for the previous year. If they did not spend the granted amount, they lose it next year. So for example, if a commander is granted 5 million for his building, but he only spends 4 million, his next budget will drop to 4 million. This results in commanders ordering expensive stuff in bulk, replacing good furniture and equipment, and enacting pointless construction projects such as a parking lot that they don't need. Great example, when he couldn't make the budget, our commander ordered 300 60-inch TVs and had them placed in the hallways, spare rooms, and tossed the remainder in storage. Each TV was overpriced at around $1,000. Commander met his budget though, so I guess it was a success. Welcome to the bloated US military. Edit. I realize most of the government works this way, but this is just my specific experience in the military, which is arguably the most bloated and overfunded piece of the federal government's budget. The biggest security threat in your company isn't your older PCs, lack of security software protecting your network, updated patching of all systems. Yes, those are all still threats. It's your employees. On average, half of your employees will give out their login and password to an email, website, or even someone who called claiming to be a person that needs that info. They will give that away faster than any hacker trying to break in through the network. The Target breach of 2013 cost them $18.5 million after hackers stole 40 million credit and debit records. How'd they do it? An HVAC company that worked on a number of Target locations had an account's login and password stolen. That's how they got in. No movie style hacking sequence, just a dumb employee who gave their info away and cost millions in damages. Thank you.